Good morning, everyone. Suzanne Taylor King here for the Productive and Prosperous Entrepreneur Coffee Chat. And we are live with one of my favorite coaches in the world, Chris Michelle. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, STK. Can I call you
Thank
that?
you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Thank you so much for joining me last minute here this morning. I appreciate you. And one of the things that I like the most about you is how adaptable and how just roll with the punches kind of guy you are,
Mm.
and how that shows up, at least for me, being having you in my circle and me being in your circle, is that you're always willing for a challenge. You're always up for a new thing. You're always ready to explore if something's going to work for you. And I love that curious mindset. And I want to talk for a second about your book,
Okay.
which sits right here in my little spot, and I read the daily entry while I have my coffee in the morning. And today was really about going through difficult times. And my husband and I just had a conversation about this yesterday, and I didn't read ahead, and we were having a conversation about how you handle difficult times, struggle, grief, maybe even procrastination. How you handle that is really a measure of your personality and how you show up for other things. So I if you're up for reading the quote that came with it, I would love that. I would be honored.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the title today is Crisis, and the quote is: The measure of a country's greatness is its ability to retain compassion in a time of crisis. And that was Thurgood Marshall,
Yeah.
former Chief Justice, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe he was chief. He was on the panel. So,
I love that.
but
Uh
well, I
and
appreciate the kind, very, very kind introduction. And as you were talking and saying those things, it reminds me that I've run across way too many people that are so rigid, right?
mm,
That I had a family member for a while in my life that you couldn't do things last minute. You just couldn't, right? If you planned something this weekend, it would totally ruffle their feathers and get them out of whack. And I had a situation where it was a big event in my life, and it got postponed. And they said to me, um, "You need to plan it at least 6 months out." And I went, "No offense, not your choice, not your decision. And if you can't make it, that's too bad, right?"
yeah.
But that kind of rigidity in my life, to your point, I grew up having to roll with the punches, right? And you coming from a military background, right, a military family, I'm
Mhm.
sure you had to roll with the punches. One day you're going to school, next day it's, hey, we're moving here, right?
Well,
And
I wasn't born till after my father's military
okay,
career, so I didn't ever have to move, but
okay,
it was still the mindset of being
yeah.
adaptable for
Well, you
sure.
have to be ready. I mean, right? Because
Yeah.
life is going to throw things at you, and this is the second time, and I'm it's people like you, Suzanne, that I wrote the book for. I
Wow.
didn't realize it, right? You don't realize why you're doing things, the reason that you do it, but
Mhm.
you you said this before, and you're kind of saying this again today. What you read today, just it hit, it resonated, it spoke to you and where you were at and what you were going through or what was going on in your life, right? And you had said that to me once before. In fact, you called me, you're like, hey, I just want to let you know this was wow. And
Yeah.
um that was really cool. And for me, I mean, my heart just gets filled, right? When
Mhm.
I, it's not that I personally, came in and tweaked your heart. I was able to share an experience from my life, right? Because
Yeah.
the experiences that I had, in this particular entry, I talked about when I received the phone call about my brother, and my brother committed suicide. As you know, he committed suicide about 3 years ago, And I remember exactly where I was. I remember exactly what I was doing, where I was going, right? I had stopped by my girlfriend's to have a quick dinner with her. And then I was going home. And on my way home, I get a phone call from my mom. I remember exactly where I was on the highway as I'm driving. And I remember just going into this zone, into
Yeah.
this, you know how um, when you're driving down the road and you just kind of go in the zone and you're like, how
Yeah.
did I get home? How did I get, to wherever I was going, at church or a meeting or whatever, right? And it was one of those days, right? So I'm on the phone with my mom and I could just tell this was not going well, right? I mean, we just literally started the conversation and she's weeping and I'm going, oh, what the,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I remember, that drive home. I remember the whole drive home, talking to my brother, talking to my dad, talking to and my older brother, talking to my older brother, my dad, and right and starting to coordinate and starting to, be in the right space. And it was really interesting because my girlfriend called me, or I called my girlfriend. I said, "Hey, I just want to let you know this is what's going on." And she goes, "What can I do to support you?" And I
Mhm.
was like, I don't know. I wrote, I just really don't know. And she goes, okay, I'm on my way. And I went, what? And she goes, I'm on
Yeah.
my way.
Yeah.
And so she literally was like 20 minutes, 30 minutes behind me. It's about 40 minutes. We live about 40 minutes apart. And she came out and hung out with me until midnight. She has two dogs. So, you know, she was just there to hang out for a while. And she was there till at least midnight. But again, it's one of those things, right? And you talk about rolling with the punches. That was a gut punch, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, what do you do now? How do I react now? Where do I go, right? And I've seen way too many people in too many situations that they don't know how to help, right? And you and I are part of a group that I love called the Quad. But we get together, and one of the great questions that gets asked every week by Nation, and I love it, is
Yeah.
what can we do to support you, right? And
Yeah.
it's like I'm adapting that. I'm saying that to my clients. I'm saying that to my friends. I'm saying that to people when I come in touch with them and they share something challenging. It's like, okay, what can I do to support you? Because I can't fix it. I'm not here to fix it. That's not my job. But
Yeah.
what can I do to support you? Right?
Well, I think that's well, one, that's the beautiful thing about having relationships like that, and, you know, I I remember when my mom passed away, back in '04. I had just started dating my husband, and she actually passed away while I was on the phone with her. So,
um,
it like you, it's got in the zone of, like, what's happening, right into action mode, like, "Who do I need to call? What do I need to do? I need
right,
to get to Florida as soon as possible. I need a drink." Like, there were so many things rolling through my head at the
right,
time,
yeah,
and I texted my husband, and we had been dating about, 6 months, 7 months, and he literally just said, "I'm on my way."
hmm,
We lived 15 minutes apart,
yeah,
but it was still, um he just knew he needed to be there for
yeah,
me, right? He didn't know what that looked like,
right,
and ultimately, the way he handled that for me was it was just whenever we have a struggle or an argument or, a disagreement
yeah,
in the last 20 years, I go back to that moment.
hmm,
And that's what made me fall in love with him, was how
sure,
he showed up like that,
sure,
So showing up for other people that same way has been such a great example for
yeah,
me, having
yeah,
people like that in my life, whether it's a small business thing or whether it's a big thing
yeah.
like that.
Well,
Matta. Hello, Matta. Oh, if you don't know Maddalena, you
I
need to know
don't.
her, follow her. She's an amazing coach, and she's into Stoic philosophy, which is
Nice.
just incredible. So have a conversation with
I
her.
will.
She's awesome. Um,
Share
so
the info. She says, share
yeah,
the info about the book. Okay, so the book is called The Red Chair Experience. It is a daily inspiration for success in life and business. And you can find, if you're here in the States, you can get a signed copy by going to theredchairexperience.com. Order it. I'll get it out in the mail and I'll send it to you. I'll sign it and send it to you. If not, go to Amazon. They've got them. They've got digital
yeah,
copies, and the audio version is on its way. It'll be out by Christmas. I'll just say that. So if
super
you're into the
excited.
audio version and you want to hear me sing the book, if you want to hear me
Say the book. Is that what you said? Say the book?
3 words, right? If you
Yeah.
want to hear me speak real well, um, yeah, that's coming up for Christmas. So
And we'll make sure to come back to the replay and share that link in the comments. So anything we talk about here at this coffee chat, we always share the links in the comments for your future enjoyment. Let's talk a little bit about what makes you feel productive as an entrepreneur, since that's the theme of our show here. um, I know you get a lot of stuff done, you meet a lot of people, you do a lot in your coaching practice. Do you have something that makes you feel really productive? It could be a tool, it could be a mindset thing, um, could be a schedule thing. What do you normally do?
well, I think you and I have discussed this before, but if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't get done, right? So I had to learn this a while back that I have to put everything in my calendar. And so if
Yeah.
you have access to my calendar, you're going to see celery juice, me time, yoga. You're going to see the different things that I do throughout the day, coaching, travel time. I even put in travel time because
Oh,
if I
yeah,
don't
that's
block
a
that
game
out,
changer. That is a game changer.
if I don't put that in there, then all of a sudden I'm stacked. I've got meeting. It's like I can't do that, right? And then I have to rearrange schedules. But number one is my calendar. It's got to be I to feel productive. I have to have it on my calendar. It's almost my checklist, right? It's my way to kind of check things off and say, "Yep, I got it done." But for
So
me, it
paper
really
calendar or electronic calendar?
everything is on my Google Calendar. But I have a desktop calendar that I write things on,
Me
and so
too. Something else we have in common.
I do. I have my here's I don't write much on it, but I've got
Yeah.
my monthly calendar and I write stuff on there and there are important things that I kind of keep track of and that kind of stuff. But the other thing to help me really, I guess, feel productive is when I am meeting with clients and when I'm having these conversations, I want to feel like they got something out of it and that we're summarizing at the end. Did this
Mm,
happen? Did this happen? Did we meet these goals? What's our next steps? Right, that kind of stuff. But those kind of things really they kind of help out. I mean, there's a ton of stuff, but
yeah.
just a couple.
Well, I like the idea of a call summary. You know, if you're talking to somebody, connecting with somebody new, or even a client that you talk to once a week, at the end, it's, what we talked about today. Okay, you're going to work on this, or I'm going to send you this. Expect an email from me within 24 hours with this, and this. If you have any questions, and I think that quality is, maybe it's almost part of that follow up or networking or truly connecting with
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah. And I think a lot of times if we get in there's two different modes, and I call myself a coach, and I've been called a coach for years because of different things that I've done. But I prefer coach versus trainer. Nothing wrong with trainers, but trainers usually blow in, blow up, blow out.
Mhm,
Right?
mhm.
They come in, they do their thing, they give you, here, get my book, here, get my program, get my do this, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with those. There's a place and a time for those. I don't want to be that person that comes in, speaks to 100 people, and says, "Hey, buy my program," and then runs away, right? And never gets to meet face to face or spend
Mhm,
one-to-one time. I prefer the one-to-ones. I prefer even some of the group, but the smaller groups like the masterminds and that kind of stuff where we
mhm.
can really get down and we can dig into some things and help. And I get to see the progress, right? I get to see their progress because my why is I'm inspired to help people do what inspires them so that they may be fulfilled.
Mm,
And
that's
that's the
good.
key. That's
That's good.
that's kind of the key there though for me. I totally stole Simon's Sinek. Simon's is almost identical, but his is to change the world, right? To affect the world. And I don't think that large of a scale. I've got my own little world, if you will, and the people that I can touch, and they're here, right? And it's not just Woodstock, Georgia; it's
Mhm.
everywhere, right? But they're all over the place, and the people that I come in contact with, and I'm finding, as I'm sure you are, Suzanne, that I know you. Well, wait, you know Harry. Now you know Nation. Now you know, right? Now you know. And it's like, wait, how did you meet that person? Right? I
Yeah.
mean, I know that person. How do you know that person? Right? And
Mhm.
I'm starting to see those kind of things, right? As the quote unquote network gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Pretty
and
amazing.
Daniel Andrews said that really well, at last month's coach conversations about the spider web, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that
Yeah.
description of how once you really start getting in the zone of productivity and networking and connecting for your business, you start to notice how other people's people are in your network, and it's really cool. And Madalena just said she ordered the book on Amazon,
That's
and
right.
she's loving the quote on your website, Chris. So I think you have a new fan.
Well, well, thank you, Madalena.
Yeah,
And
that's
well,
awesome.
and that's the thing, right? I mean, she quotes Zig Ziglar there, which is what I did. I mean, I used that quote, and there's a ton of other quotes in the book. But there are things that inspire me, right? There are people that inspire me daily, and I hope that we all have people that inspire us. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and doing reciprocating a deal, right? She's helping me doing this thing that I'm preparing for, and I'm helping her with sales. And we were talking, and it was just really interesting about how we just get all this junk filled up in our mind, and we don't think about. I said, do you spend time getting inspired daily?
Mm,
And she was like, no, I don't. And I said, okay, little homework, right? Sit down, and what are you grateful for? And it's as simple as your fish, your husband, the
yeah,
job that you have, the place where you live, right? It's really that simple. And those little things turn into inspirations that turn into I can do this. And it gets rid of the junk in our head, right? Because we're so caught up in the negative trash talk of I can't do
mhm,
this, I'm not good enough, I'm an imposter, I do blah blah blah. You got to get rid of that. It's
yeah,
self-taught, by the way. It is
yeah,
self-taught.
yeah. It really
Somebody
is.
may have started it, but we finish it.
Oh, we certainly do. And I think
We fall hard, don't we?
well, one of the most powerful things you can do to advance your business is quiet that internal judgment in your head, whether it's, I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, or getting out of the self-worth place and just moving forward. That's what makes me feel productive, because
Yeah.
I stuck for a long time in the I need one more certification. Oh, well, I need this in order to put myself out there. And it just became a never ending. I realized, oh crap, I love to learn. So that doesn't have to mean I'm not good enough, or like that I need to learn things. I just love learning stuff. I love absorbing other people's knowledge. And then if I can share that with people, that's even better. Like,
Right.
oh, wow, okay. Can I get paid for that? Yes, absolutely.
Right.
And it's really cool. Like, so
Yeah.
now um realizing that I'm learning for other people
Mhm.
becomes I'm not learning for my own self-worth judgment. I'm learning for my people. I'm
Yeah.
I'm learning so you don't have to, so that I can bring you. It's just amazing. Like, and it's super exciting. Um
Well, I was gonna say, so real quick, you and I both came from the corporate world. We were learning to help the corporation
mhm,
before, right? And
mhm,
and ultimately maybe our clients or the people that we worked with. But to your point, right now we get to learn for not just our own, but then for the people that we get to
yeah,
then affect. And they get to right, and it kind of passes itself forward, if you will. You get to pay it forward. So kind
yeah,
of cool.
yeah. um All right, so now prosperity is our second word of this
Mhm.
show, and it's one of my favorite words. I learned that from a coach I had for 3 years, Brian Johnson, and he used to take this list of words that began with PRO, professional,
Yeah.
prospective, prosperous, and there was many more. And one of the things I love about the word prosperous is, for years, that I thought the words prosperous, affluent, and secure had to do with money, and
Mm.
they don't.
Mm-mm.
And so prosperous to me means to feel fulfilled and to
Mm.
feel connected to what I'm putting out there in the world
Right.
and to move forward with hope for a better tomorrow. So I can make today great, but tomorrow is going to be even better.
Right.
So I love to explain that and then ask my guests what prosperous means for you and how does that feel in your business? Whether you're still working towards it or whether you feel it already.
Well, it is a great question because you're right. A lot of times we think of prosperous in a monetary type of way. We think, oh, I have to make six figures or seven figures, or right, I have to make this to be prosperous.
Mhm.
That's not true, right? I mean, it may be in your definition, but for any one of us, I look at it almost like fulfillment, right? I'm fulfilled, I'm grateful because of the job that I have, that I
Yeah,
get to do the things that I get to do, that I get to
yeah.
have the conversations that I get to have, right? And for me, being prosperous is knowing that I wrote a book,
Mm,
knowing that I have an impact on people, just simple little words, right? And why does that make me feel prosperous is because I want to know that people have an influence on me and that I have and then I have it on them. So there are
mm.
people that I'm obviously influenced by, right, or that I get inspired by, and that kind of stuff. I wish the same for others from me, and not that I'm some wizard and I'm some guru and I've got all this wisdom and no, but I'm 56 years old. I've seen a few things, right? I've lived this particular life, and I got to do these things. If I can share something with you, as Eleanor Roosevelt said, we don't have time to make all the mistakes on our own. Learn from somebody else, right?
Oh,
I'm
I love that.
paraphrasing.
Yeah,
I'm totally paraphrasing, but that's the gist of it was we don't have time to go through and live all these mistakes out. We must learn from others if we really want to prosper, if we want to get ahead, if we want to right move forward. And so, yeah, for me, it's like you said, it's having influence with others. It's being out there in a place where hey, I'm going to make mistakes, and I've said some stupid stuff, and I've done some stupid things, and that's
yeah,
okay. And but that keeps me grounded, right? That also keeps me, hey, I'm not some whatever, right? I'm not this particular person that everybody looks to and goes,
yeah,
he has 10 million followers. No, I don't.
yeah.
So
I
yeah.
well, I learned 2 things from you just then that we're the same age, which I didn't know that, so that's pretty cool.
What?
Um, and closer to 60 than I am to 50, oh my god.
Right?
And,
Mm,
one of the other things was that, inspiring others doesn't have to be on this giant grand scale. And I talk about likes and follows all the time, because in my early days of coming into the online space, I thought that's what it was about. Get likes and follows and you'll make money. And it wasn't until many years later that I gave up on that.
mm,
Like everything I tried didn't work. And because I was going for the like and the follow, being like everyone else, saying what everybody else was saying who was getting likes and follows.
right.
And it wasn't until I could stand in my own personality and quirks, all the things, right?
Yeah.
That likes and follows happened in a different way. And
Right.
that's creating community, creating a tribe of people, and then having inner circle connections like
Yeah.
you and Mation and Paula and all the other people that we come in contact with. I love it. Um,
Yeah,
so
and that's where you get the different connection, like you were talking about. Sorry, but
yeah,
you're right. It's about the different connection. Likes and follows are to be popular. We're not here to be popular. We're here to make an impact, right? We're here
yeah,
to make a difference, and that's what we need to do, right? That's where we need to be so that we can see those things or have those things come through, right?
Yeah.
And so you're right. When we get away from that, oh, I have to have so many likes, I have to have so many follows, I have to have so many. What's interesting is I put a post out yesterday and I tagged a number of people, and it's for this event that I'm going to do, that I'm helping to host and facilitate. But what was interesting is overnight, I got like an extra 300 people to view the post itself,
Mhm.
and an extra 12 people that viewed my profile, right, on LinkedIn. And
Wow.
I was just like, oh, that's interesting. And there were like people I don't even know, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, who are these people and where'd they come from? But it was like, but right, we start to see, as we were talking about earlier, the connections, right? And they start to spider out and they start to,
Mhm.
go out into these reaches that you're like, how did I, how did I meet that person, or how did that
Yeah.
person find me, or I mean, so there's so many different things, and it's kind of cool to see how this really reaches out there, right? And
Mhm.
how the your effect really is this fine line, and it doesn't have to be some deep like, or 10,000 likes. It could be you get 6 likes, but they were all people that connected with you,
Yeah.
resonated with what you had to say or what you shared.
Yeah, and I think that's the perfect segue to that's why I have a community. Like, that sole reason right there, from, likes and follows, random people, to being super intentional and
Yeah,
creating the people who like and follow you.
yeah,
And it's a skill. I realize it's a skill now. I didn't before. And developing that skill, curating those people, and honoring the fact that I know how to do it. And hmm, wow, that was huge for me.
yeah,
And just stepping into it and saying, I'm a community founder because I know how to do this, and I'm going to do it at scale with people who matter, like you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Coach Chris. um we oh I love your mug. So I always say, show me your mug, since we're here for a coffee chat. Today, I found a mug that's keeping coffee warm
nice.
today. Um, and I didn't even know I had this. So I don't
I've got about 10 of those. You want one? I'll send it to you.
no, no more. No more mugs, no
Okay.
more water bottles. No, none of it.
Yeah.
We're cleaning house. We're cleaning house.
My daughter gave me this years ago, and it's my alma mater. It's the
Uh-huh.
University of Illinois, but I loved it. This, if I'm drinking something hot or something cold, this is
I
my
love it.
travel mug, and I've had this thing for probably, I don't know, 5 years now, and
Wow.
I love this thing, and yeah, it's
I love
wonderful.
it. Well, I'm putting my coffee in this from now on after the first cup, because then it stays warm instead
Hmm.
of, me drinking cold coffee at 10
Right.
o'clock, which is awesome. Well, Chris, thank you so much. You're going to come back and drop those links
Yes.
in the comments here on LinkedIn. I'll put them on Facebook and YouTube as well, because we're live in 3 places today for the Productive and Prosperous Entrepreneur Show. Thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to your upcoming event, and more gratitude and more morning inspiration. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Suzanne. Have a
You're
great
welcome.
day.
You too.